You guys are doing a daily video challenge, and in this series we're doing old shitty talk videos like we did before with a shitty camera and a terrible background. And today we're going to talk about what you should no longer waste your time with in Taekwondo. If you took away all these things, Taekwondo would be better.
Yeah, much. Yeah, this is basically everything you're wasting your time with in Taekwondo. And we will talk about the good stuff at the end. So, the blocks. Blocks are absolute shit. Like,
every single one.
Ineffective fucking blocks. That really, and they're never tested under live resistance. And there's no, your Olympic sparring coach will let you spar with your hands down to conserve energy so you can throw a lot of flashy kicks. And you're not worried about getting punched in the face.
Or getting leg kicked.
Yeah, so you can keep that distance, keep that stance, have your fucking hands down. To a degree. It works in that sport.
And you can block kicks with a low block.
Let's say, okay, so it could even be your same coach, but let's say you're fucking a coach that taught you forms, and now you're doing sparring with your fucking hands down. Like, you did useless blocks to begin with, and now you're not even implementing them, so you have no way of knowing how they fucking work, or not. It's stupid.
Yeah, and that's why you can get away with low blocking ground kicks. Because you don't have to worry about punches to the face. Like, that's one thing I experienced when I first kickboxed, is that I instinctively blocked a round kick with a low block, and then a punch came right to my face because I don't have to worry about that stuff. And it was a hard punch too. And all of you guys are saying, "Oh, ITF, we punch to the face." No, you don't. You love tap each other to the face. You just lightly touch each other, and even in those full contact tournaments, that full contact you're talking about, like,
it's continuous point sparring.
It's continuous point sparring,
With
and it's
limited
frowned upon to hit hard. It's frowned upon. Like, if you knock somebody out, that's bad. That's a bad thing. Now, I don't like hurting people. I don't like doing it. But in the context of somebody's trying to take your head off, and you're fighting,
yeah, it's a fucking competition where you're sport fighting.
You should try to knock that person out, because in a real street fight, you don't want to mess around. You want to knock them out and get out of there. Like, you know. But, so that's one thing. The other thing is one-steps.
Oh my god, that's probably the worst.
That's like combining the blocks that are already not effective.
With even more fucking bullshit.
Yeah, with bad attacks. Like,
that do not happen.
Yeah.
They exist in this ridiculous, fanciful martial arts vacuum, but no one is ever going to low block punch you.
Yeah, or, and I've seen some self-defense too, is like, oh, some guy's going to throw a really huge haymaker. And yeah, that happens sometimes, but
the speed and how that guy, he never goes a little bit faster, and he
stops.
He never pulls his punch back to reset in the stance, throw another strike. He just chills there in midair unless you can do that slap happy Wing Chun shit where you're just doing a million slaps all over the guy and taking his back. And I think he's just slowly crunching down as you're destroying him. Or you can fucking do your step on his leg, back kick him in the face, like ridiculous movie shit from like Taekwondo or Hapkido, like.
Yeah, you could do that, and
it's bullshit.
Yeah, and it's
and
same
you're
thing
wasting
with
your
weapons.
time. Nobody's ever gonna try to attack you like that.
Yeah, and So the third thing's weapons. Not in a million years are you gonna find a 6-foot pole
or a nunchuck. You're more likely with a 6-foot pole.
You're more likely to find that. But
or like size or some shit, like nobody's gonna attack you with that shit. Like,
hey, and that stuff is fun. I get it. Like, I used to do bow staff. I competed with it, and I thought that shit was really cool.
He's actually pretty nasty still.
And I was like, I've won tournaments with it and won stuff for it, but like it's useless.
And what gets you to win that shit is looking pretty. Like, you do fancy spinning moves.
And honestly, have you ever hit somebody with a nunchuck? Like, you're not gonna be able to free flow it like you want to. It's just gonna stop.
Yeah, it ruins the flow. So you kind of have one.
And even a staff or like a sword. The only weapon I see value is a knife or a gun,
or like a decent sized stick.
Yeah, like a bat,
a baton or a bat. Yeah.
Like, and honestly, like, who's gonna really want to mess with you when you have a freaking bat? Like, honestly, what you would want to learn is how to defend against that type of stuff. How to defend against a knife, defend against a gun, But then again, you go into the area where you're learning this bullshit non-resistance sort of thing, where the person, which is like one steps. I don't care what you think, they're one steps. If a certain person is attacking you with a knife, and you have a sequence of steps that you follow to the T, when the person is not ever fighting back, you're learning one steps. The best way to learn is, honestly, take up MMA and apply those same principles, just controlling the knife. And a good example is this is watching Burton Richardson, JKD Unlimited, because his knife defense is probably the best. Because he uses shock knives, and they basically, no holds barred. The person's trying to stab you, and you're doing realistic things, where you're trying to control the knife, take them down. And the origin of jiu-jitsu was really for weapons. I mean, that's where a lot of the locks come from, was to disarm weapons. So, I mean, when you use the principles of Brazilian jiu-jitsu that's more live and realistic, you can use that for knife defense. So, that's kind of on a rant. But
and you have to understand, I mean, also, if you're going to learn any of that shit, find a teacher that knows you're going to get cut or stabbed.
Or who's been in a real knife fight.
Exactly.
Like, those guys I trust. Those guys who actually have been in real knife fights. Because they will tell you,
like those Filipino guys with stabs in them, and they're like, yeah, I got stabbed.
Yeah,
and survived. And they're like, hey, it's about surviving the attack. They understand that.
Yeah.
You're not this mystic badass, like, from an anime that's just going to use superpowers and fuck somebody up. You're going to just, like, do what you can to survive and not get killed with a knife. Like, it's dangerous shit. But forms are absolute shit. Back to the topic of
like
shit
blocks.
that doesn't work. Yeah, it's like...
It all revolves around blocks, yeah.
It all revolves around shit that just doesn't fucking work. I mean...
Well, honestly, it revolves around the forms, because from the forms
they're
come the blocks,
and the
comes the self-defense, comes the sparring.
But then the sparring gets altered into, hey, we want to see pretty kicks to your head, and you can get away with anything to accomplish that.
Yeah. Another thing in Taekwondo...
Okay.
Want to say reverse punches?
Yeah, that's...
Reverse punches are pretty bad. I mean, we see them work sometimes, but it's under the context of that person that cross-trained. By them, because the original thought behind a reverse punch is, you're in ancient Japan, and a guy has a weapon, and he's wearing full armor. You have no weapons because it's not allowed, and you only have one punch, and you gotta generate the most force as possible. So you're gonna chamber it, and you're gonna, punch him through his guard, or even like this ridiculous shit where you're doing this spear hand. You're treating your hand like a fucking weapon, which is not. It's the same thing with animal kung fu. Like, you're not a freaking tiger, you're not a panda, you're not a.
Well, shit, I got a guy on my fight team.
Yeah,
but you're not the animal.
You're not a monkey. Like, we don't fight like those animals because they're not built like them. It's the same thing with the knife hands. There you go, knife hands.
Yeah.
Any like, other than a fist
or a palm strike,
a
legit palm strike.
Yeah, using a bridge hand is pretty terrible. Knife hands pretty bad. Finger strikes are pretty bad, unless you're poking somebody's eyes. Okay. Yeah. That's the only use for it, and that's the only use. And even still, like, aiming for someone's eye is really hard to do, unless you're in mount, and you're really just kind of being an asshole at that point, and you're just poking someone's eye, or because I mean we see it happen in the UFC. We see John Jones poke people's eyes all the time. I mean, who knows? Maybe he had a Krav Maga background, but. It's incredibly difficult, especially if that's all you're going for. If somebody's trying to fight you and you're just doing this, they're gonna know they're trying to poke you. Like, yeah, it's oh my god, it's like Waterboy, Captain Insano. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, okay, God, there's a scene where it's going on off a rant. You guys will know what I'm talking about, but there's a scene where the coach is trying to get Adam Sandler to tackle this other guy. And he's like, okay, beat him. And then he just, like, pokes him in the eye. And the guy's like, ah. And then he says, like, Captain Insano would have done that or something. But unless you're a water boy, then don't eye poke. There's something else.
Board breaking's kind of stupid, too.
Board breaking's kind of stupid. I mean...
There is a little bit of value to it, but...
There's, like, value in the precision and accuracy.
And
But-
get a good bone structure you have to not fuck yourself up. But
stacking like 8 bricks
and having all the time in the world, and you're just trying to show that, oh yeah, I'm a badass, I can break all this shit. That's kind of cool. You can break all that shit, but under pressure, you're not going to use that much power on an opponent.
Yeah, I
It's not
honestly think the best, and this might sound counterintuitive, but to break less boards, not like those super thin ones, because that's just, you can touch it and it'll break, but like moderately thick boards, but movement. Like I've experimented with this in my class. Like I held a board, a speed breaking board, and I was just having the kids spar, okay, and I was having like throw punches and kicks at me, and then all of a sudden I pull the board and I have it out, and he has to throw a really quick hook and break it, because that's like the knockout ball. That's like the opportunity. You see the golden opportunity. Matt was talking about this, where there's guys with their hands down, their chins up, or they're just tired. You got to take the opportunity and have explosive power, and that's kind of like how board breaking should be, and that's what I'm making in the functional Taekwondo curriculum, is
A
more
functional
practical,
board break.
yeah, functional board break, where it's not, you don't have all the time in the world to like
Power
meditate
up.
and get your chi ready to hit it. Like, no, it's instant. You think you don't get to aim it a bunch of times. You don't get to like measure, figure out, yell 3 times and then go. Like, it's instant. Okay, and if you guys want to support that, feel free to donate, because that's what I'm trying to create. But so yeah, is there anything else? Anything else completely
The
useless?
repetitions of the kicks is a good thing. We'll
Oh,
say
yeah,
that.
let's talk about the
end
good
on
things.
a good note. I mean,
So the good thing is repetition of kicks. That did help us both out when it came to transitioning to Muay Thai, because having all those weird different type of kicks makes our hips.
yeah, it helps
more.
your balance, your flexibility, and like your versatility with what you can do.
That's honestly the only good thing about it, though.
Yeah,
That's
but
honestly the only good thing.
if you didn't do any of that other bullshit, and you did that, it would be valuable.
Yeah, absolutely, it would be. And like we said, though, you got to cross train. I mean, if you had the kicks of Taekwondo and you modified it to use your shin, and you boxed, you'd probably be a good striker. I mean, you could, if you truly practiced.
Well, yeah, you'd be like Yair Rodriguez at that point.
Yeah.
He's nasty.
Yeah, and if we take out the ground game, because some of you guys think like, oh, I would never get taken down, and you're too stupid to argue with if you think that. But so yeah, that's that. If you guys want to make a contribution to our cause, just click the link below, click the card up above. See you guys in the next video.